Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel by Listener. My name is Ankit Thawal. I am a MTech student here at IIT Madras. And today with us we have Chandra Churh Chatterjee. He is my batchmate and a good friend. So let me first introduce himself to all of you. He has cracked his gate and got into IIT Madras. He has chosen many subjects, but prominently he had chosen TS courses, ML courses. And today, in this talk, I wanted to share his story about why he chose the things he had chosen, how was his gate journey throughout whatever he has prepared for. And also, I would like to go more deeper into what were the thinking behind the machine learning roles you have chosen and interviews you have given. And lastly, we will discuss your interview rounds in the placement. So, thank you, Chandra, and you can introduce
It is a pleasure. So, as Thawal said, Ankit said, I am Chandra Churh Chatterjee. I am from West Bengal. I did my BTech in a government engineering college at West Bengal, and then I dropped for 1 year, prepared for GATE, and then cracked it and got admission into IIT Madras. So currently I am in MTech second year or final year of IIT Madras in the Department of Computer Science Engineering, same as Ankit, everything. So my GATE journey actually started in 2019 when I was starting to prepare for the GATE 2020. So I did an internship at IIT Surat. So where I met one of my guides, Chandra Churh, who inspired me to appear for GATE. I was firstly focused on more on GRE and doing MS outside for data science courses and everything else. But he inspired me to appear for GATE and do MTech at one of the IITs in. So I appeared for GATE in 2020. I got around 2000 around rank. I would have got probably MTech, not MTech, MS at any of the NITs. He also contacted me for doing MS at NITs, but he had already suggested that I take into top 5 IITs. So I immediately stopped everything whatever I was doing because I had already gotten a job after my BTech at Cognizant, which I revoked, which I did not accept the offer, rejected the offer, and then I started an intense 10 months working for me.
So you prepared full time for the
The full
those
time.
10 months you didn't have any job or any internship?
No, nothing.
So it's kind of many people chose to do a job and side by side GATE, but what were like, I wanted to know a little bit details about the कैसे
Yes.
वो
So what I did was the GATE 2020 results came out on 13 March 2020, as I remember. I immediately bought some books and started because for the GATE 2020 I had prepared only for 2-3 months. तो उसके बाद मैंने नेक्स्ट ईयर के लिए प्रिपरेशन एकदम मतलब थॉरो प्रिपरेशन लेने का कोशिश किया. सो आई स्टार्टेड इमीडिएटली ऑन 15th March कंप्लीट. सो आई प्लान्ड एवरीथिंग आउट ऑन 15th for a 10-month preparation. 6 months I would focus on completing the syllabus, entire syllabus. The last 4 months would be revision and testing. So I had planned like within first 10 days I will do the aptitude and everything, and then 2-3 days for each subject. So many people what they do is do jobs as well as do GATE. One of my friends who is currently in IIT who did the same. He did well. There is no problem with that if you can manage. But I feel it difficult to focus on multiple things at the same time. So I had the vision from initial years on your initial time only to concentrate on.
Yeah, that's. I think it's again a personal choice.
Yeah, it's a personal choice. Anyway, both are successful.
Yeah.
You can see people getting below 100 ranks doing job as well in GATE. You can see people getting below 100 ranks without doing job completely focusing on it.
That's great. So there is a constant debate around like GATE is eventually GATE is a problem solving exam.
Yeah.
So there is a debate like how much time you should devote to syllabus and grading and practicing stuff, and compared to other sides giving test series, multiple test series.
So
what is your take?
that is also on a personal choice depending on how you are preparing. So, for example, what I did was I had targets. Like within 6 months, I had a target that I would give one test series, and within 6 months, I should at least get 50% to 60% marks in GATE. If I get that, then I will focus on what the next step is, which would be practicing more on test series and improving the marks from probably if I got 50 or 60, from 50 or 60 to how to get to 70. So because it is a technical test and it is a problem solving test, so studying everything for knowledge is not a good choice in competitive exams nowadays. So you have to be very technical what you don't have to study and what you have to study.
So kind of improving mistakes. And
Improving mistakes, continuous revisions, thorough revisions, again tests, and then the same cycle continues.
I kind of have a same view. So we will move on to next topic, that is MTech. After you have given it, you must have had some thought of choosing this IIT over other IITs, and why you have chosen IIT Madras.
So from my BTech years, I had a little bit focus on the academic side and research side, because I did a lot of research based on MLNDL in my BTech second year, third year, and final year as well. So I looked into the IITs which were doing more on the research side. So the first IIT that came to mind was IIT Madras. Of course, IISc was first, but the IISc, the problem with the IISc is the placement scenario is a bit confusing to many people. So either unless you have already visited IISc and know what the placement scenario was for the past few years, you then can trust IISc. Otherwise, it is very difficult from the outside world to trust IISc about placement. So I also had a priority of the placements. So one of the major IITs that came to my mind was IIT Madras, IIT Kanpur, Delhi, Bombay, Kharagpur, and all these. So I applied in all those, and then I consulted some of my teachers, some of my seniors. I also consulted some of my seniors who are doing currently PhD in IIT Madras. So they told me that they suggested that IIT Madras, computer science department at IIT Madras is probably one of the best.
So was there a thought about choosing IIT Madras because the course structure, faculty structure?
Yes, sure.
And
So,
what was the
So as I did internship in NIT Surat, which is a Karnataka Regional Engineering College, National Institute of Technology. So I had a little bit focus, or I had a little bit of kind of more devoted towards going to the do research in the south, because south has more culture on probably education rather than more technical side of or job. So like the course structure of IIT Madras compared to many course structure of IIT Guwahati or for example IIT Roorkee is very academic focused rather than job focused or industry based focused. So I had a little bit what I should say priority on those academic based courses. So it turned out.
Okay, so my next question was my next question is to what kind of subject you chose to go into ML, but I wanted to explain our audience how is the course structure of IIT Madras. So we have 8 courses which we have to finish. Otherwise, you can't sit for placement and you can't pass. In the first year, you have to pass 7 courses, out of which 2 courses are mandatory. One is APL Lab and other is ADSN. And in second year, we have a major thesis project which goes for an entire year. So that is the thing. So what kind of subject you chosen in the first year?
So the 2 courses were compulsory: APL, the Advanced Programming Lab, and the Advanced Data Structures and Algorithms class. So those 2, keeping aside those 2, so there were many choices of system-based courses, programming-based courses, and then DL or ML-based courses. So as I had experience in DL and ML-based research work in previous work, so I thought of going into those courses and make my knowledge a bit more deeper and more informative. So that's why I chose PRML, pattern recognition machine learning, and I also chose the linear algebra. So linear algebra, as it turns out, is one of the major prerequisites for deep learning courses.
Sorry to interrupt, but you can even talk about which professor took the course.
So PRML was taken by Balaram Ravindran sir, and linear algebra was taken by Mrs. Kapra sir. So Mrs. Kapra sir, one of the renowned data scientists of India currently. Balaram sir also one of the major data science leaders in India currently. So given that they are taking the courses, it was a very good opportunity to get and learn as much as you can from them while they are taking the courses. So that was one of the major reasons as well. And also, as I had a bit of planning of following my career through data science and all, so those turned out to be prerequisites. So those were basically mandatory courses for me.
And in the second sem, have you gone deep into ML or what was your?
So in the second sem, after following with PRML and linear algebra, I took the fundamentals of deep learning course, again offered by Mrs. Kapra sir, which is one of very renowned courses in India currently. People from very other institutes, many renowned institutes take this course. So given that the opportunity that you are in this institute currently meeting with sir face to face taking the courses was very good. So of course I took that course, and then I also took natural language processing offered by Chandra, which was also a very great and traditional approach of natural language processing, which is actually very good to help you understand how the natural language processing or deep learning was a few years ago or a few decades ago. And after that, I took two courses, which is actually important when you think like DSTD and the ontology course. So those courses were actually to balance my CGPA. Those courses, so that kind of planning is required when you are taking courses. So because fundamentals of deep learning will be a very heavy course. Similarly, natural language processing will be a very heavy course. So earning points, good points on them will be a bit difficult. It's possible, but it will be difficult. So you need to have some. If your priority is to have a good academic record, you need to have some balanced courses that will help you or that are actually easy scoring courses.
And this might be a these courses you have taken, you must have had some projects or assignments inside it. Has these assignments or project helped you in final placements or
Yeah, so
how was
the courses that IIT Madras offers, generally all the courses are very nice assignments, with very thoughtful assignments, which actually help in the real world application. So the fundamentals of deep learning course offered by Mrs. Kapla sir had assignments that would actually help you in the industry. So it was not like just a research assignment which people are doing for like past 5 years, the same assignment, same things are being done, which are not used in the industry nowadays. But it was not at all the case. The case was you are given new topics, new problems, and you have to solve those as you would if you were appointed as a lead researcher in Google or Microsoft. It's exactly the same. So it actually helps in much more in one thinking and problem solving.
yeah, so you said you had some research background in your BTech.
Yeah.
So what was that research background? How
So how it started was I had a friend who did a research internship in his second year at IIT Madras in West Bengal only. So he learned there. He went over there and learned some of deep learning techniques. So when he came back, he asked me, "Do you want to work with me?" So I said, "Yeah, sure. I will work with you. I'll see how much I can learn with." So I started working with him, and slowly, without any prerequisite knowledge of any theoretical basis of machine learning, statistics, probability, linear algebra, or deep learning, I dove into deep learning. I dove into convolutional neural networks, started coding them, understanding them, how they work, and slowly, I started doing research with him, published some papers, and then after learning a few tricks and tips, I went on to publish my own research. And then I came to do my research intern at IIT Surat, where I learned a lot. And then I published my first international conference. So the idea and the thought of doing research actually was accidental when I started to working with him, but I got interested in it and kept doing it. Now after coming here, the course helped me to make my fundamentals very clear.
Yeah.
So the major reason of taking the courses was also to make my fundamentals clear so that I can pursue this as a career. So you can learn by doing doing the thing again and again, but fundamentals need to be clear when you are going into a real world. So that was one of the major reasons why I took all these courses. And again, now my MTech project is also on research and development.
So who is professor?
So my guide is Professor C. Chandra Churh, who is a very good actually professor and actually expert in the field of natural language processing and has been for many years. So I got the opportunity, I took it, and now it's a very good thing.
Yeah, that's great. So we should move a little bit about. I guess to give a small introduction, he was one of very few people who were always trying to apply for ML, DS roles. Most of people try to go for SD roles, as ML roles kind of are uncertain in their interview. We will of course know little more details from you. But I wanted to know what was the preparation strategy and how it was different from SD profile when you prepared for ML.
So SD profile, so when you are sitting for placements in any of the IITs or for any company, so you get multiple opportunities at multiple different kinds of roles. There are SD roles, there are system roles, there are DLML, data science roles, and there are also management based roles. So my priority was either SD or data science and ML. Of course, first priority was data science and ML. So preparing for SD is just basic coding, programming, and data structure algorithms. But for ML and DL, what you have to do is you have to very basic understanding of linear algebra, probability, statistics, and machine learning. So deep learning people today are working with deep learning. Today talk about deep learning, but very rarely interviewer will ask you a question that is specific to deep learning. Most of the questions can be solved by techniques from machine learning. So as long as you have a good idea of linear algebra, as long as you have a good idea of probability statistics and machine learning techniques, most of the questions will be very clear and you will be able to answer most of the questions. And of course, nowadays people are actually putting more effort on Python as a programming language because it is one of the major languages used for data science and all those. So if you are doing work in Python, even C++, it will be much better if you continue doing work, and the interviewer will also be impressed because that is what they expect from you. So at least a good expertise in one programming language for that particular role.
I will divide the next question in two parts. So each place, whenever company comes for a placement, they take online assessment test and then there is interview. So how is online assessment of SD role different from ML role?
Yeah, so online assessment of SD role is basically algorithm data structure based problem solving coding question that most of the time people receive, as well as if it is a conjuncture of system based role and SD role, you will get some MCQs on gate based subjects as well. But for the ML based roles, linear algebra, MCQs on linear algebra might be a problem that you need to solve, which might take you 2-3 days, and they will take a feedback or a case study from you after that. Those kind of exams are actually taken. And also there might be a hackathon based recruitment process, and then there might be a problem that you are given which you need to solve it and probably publish the results and something, and then you need to show it on some repository or some website that you need to upload and compete with other people. So depending on how much performance you achieve, how much efficient your algorithm is, depending on those, they will take an interview and they will proceed.
Yeah. So mostly yesterday we had some placement talk in our college, and Kush was there, and he mentioned that for SD roles your competition is too little, but for ML roles there is some ocean engineering guy who is also competing.
Yes.
So as you can see, there is a lot of people competing for very few roles. Already there are a few companies come, and even though they come, they offer max equal to
two roles in company.
Exactly. So, and the second part of my question was how the interview rounds are different.
So interview rounds in FD are again based on mostly problem solving data structures and algorithms. So mostly data structures like lineage based problems, tree based problems will be given, basic problems, and also so the basic and fundamentalness of each interview remains the same. In data science based roles, again you will be asked very fundamental questions as well, like very simple questions of why regular ASM, very simple question of what is overfitting, what is underfitting, how you tackle overfitting and how you tackle underfitting. So these are the basic questions that you learn when you start understanding machine learning. There's some simple linear algebra based descriptions of linear algebra based problems might be given to you to solve. So interviews are actually very fundamental compared to the online assessment or other recruitment processes. So it will be fine as long as you have a very fundamental and basic knowledge.
And in our resume, you must have mentioned even projects. So were they interested in doing?
Yeah, sure. So I got placed in, if I can mention, I got placed in Fourth Frontier, which actually does a little bit work on the medical field. So as already I had an experience in, as I told, I did research in my BTech. So all those researches were mainly on medical field as well. So I did a lot of research on skin cancer, genetic data, used different techniques on them. So they were interested because I already had a little bit of idea on how the medical data is analyzed and everything, and which is what they do in their industry. So a perfect match was there, but even if there is not a perfect match, as long as you have mentioned your project, they get an idea that you know how to solve a problem, you know how to approach with a novelty, you know how to create a new probably approach for everyone that they can use. Moreover, if you have publications, it is better because publications ensure that your work is very novel and it does not exist anywhere. So there is very less chance of plagiarism that you have done. So the complete work is very new to the world. So as long as you have those, you are very helpful in the interview. So people are generally interested if you have, because they get the basic understanding, that the person who is being interviewed has at least a basic knowledge of how to implement a normal model or a normal architecture.
So these things helps you in your interview to focus more on the project and on paper you are. So coming back, you are the person who's kind of a topper of our batch who has almost what's your CGPA, correct?
I think it's 9.8.
Yeah, so it's a very great CGPA to maintain for a MTech person because as we know the syllabus is very hectic and there is very little time to pursue anything. So you have also MTP, your guide is also good, your CGPA is also good. So I wanted to know more or kind of a tips from you, like how to maintain this 9+ CGPA.
So, maintaining the CGPA, as I mentioned, I had a priority to keep a good academic record. So, from initial stages only, I chose the courses very wisely. I chose the courses that I thought I would be good at. So, as I mentioned in the second semester, I chose fundamentals of deep learning, NLP, and case study and ontology to balance my grades. Ironically, I got S in fundamentals of deep learning and NLP, and I got A in case study and ontology. So, thing actually depends on how you perceive it, because I was more interested in fundamentals of deep learning and NLP, the assignments that they were providing. So, I did them with much more effort than I put on DST and ontology. So, the amount of effort that you put, you get the return. It's simple, but earning a good CGPA is fine as long as you have a priority to maintain a good academic record.
So, as you mentioned that you had some idea that you wanted to go to academic side, and that's why you maintain such good CGPA. But other than academic, what kind of opportunities does having a good CGPA open?
Yeah, so choosing a good M2P guide. So if you have the highest CGPA, you can choose whoever you want. Basically, you can apply to anyone you want, and they will most probably take you as long as you have met the criteria of doing particular subjects. Then converting to PhD is very easy. Getting an MRF, or PMRF would be much easier compared to if you have a CGPA. And also it helps in maintaining a good portfolio in LinkedIn and all. So people maintaining a good CGPA is just to give an idea to everyone out there that I went to my college and class every day, attended most of the classes and did well. So that is just an idea. So everyone that wants to hire you, that you can do well if you focus on something. So they get an idea that yes, he went to class, he attended every class and he did very well. So if I hire him in a company, he will come to me, he will talk with me, understand the problem and solve it and do perform much well than probably others who not put much effort. So that's
like a kind of you are diligent in what you have done, and you will perform successfully in your future also. It kind of brings in confidence in a candidate if you are selecting for this. And was there any benefit in the actual placement when there was 2 candidates and they have to choose one?
So ironically, higher CGPA students, many companies fear to take higher CGPA students. So when companies see that a student has a very good academic result, it is very rare that he will probably move into industry. So most of the bachelor students in IIT, if you see them having a CGPA of 9 and above, they are most probably going to do MS in some good top 10 universities in the world. So that is why companies rarely hire them. So it is actually, it does not make an effect or does not provide an effort, means actually it is neither diminishing nor advantageous as long as the company understands what you need. So if the company understands that you are more focused on the industry, they will hire you irrespective of what CGPA you have. And similarly, but companies rarely put much effort on the CGPA. Some might do, depending on the interviewer or the person that he is. So that kind of benefit is there.
Were there any questions regarding your CGPA?
Yeah, so all the companies asked me how you have such a big CGPA. So again, I already mentioned that my priority was a good academic record. So these questions would be asked if you have a very good CGPA, and also if you have a very bad CGPA, these questions will be asked. So again,
I heard first time that this is the disadvantage of CGPA.
Yeah, so this is one of disadvantages. But as long as you make it clear that you want to work in that company, you are interested in what they are doing, and you want to contribute to what they are doing, they will probably hire you.
So I never had such a good CGPA even in my BTech, not even in MTech. But what are some good 2-3 characteristics that uh, you think are different in you than compared to your batchmates or people around you?
So
Are there?
everyone has got 24 hours. Now the thing is how you use the 24 hours. So when I do something, I put a lot of time. But then you will see me probably 1 week doing nothing. So my schedule is kind of like that. So when I am probably doing some assignment or a project, I will put a huge amount of time into that. Probably do 12 hours, 14 hours a day while doing that particular project. And then when it is done, I will take a huge, big, long rest. So that is how I work. I prefer to work. So I do not have a very big consistency, but I like to put effort into a particular thing at a time, and my whole conscience at a particular thing.
Kind of like the guy who don't maintain routine. If you have some project, you will put a lot of your efforts in that, and then you will take a rest.
My priority is always to finish it as fast as possible, and then take a good rest.
That's great approach. Yeah. Any other kind of issues?
Any other characters I have not seen much. Most of the people are similar, but the priorities are different for different people. I have met many people who are capable of getting much higher CGPA, but they don't because the priorities are different. They have priorities of attending some other conferences, seminars, or all those things. They have priorities of getting better jobs than preparing for the courses.
Okay. Do you consider getting into PhD in your field?
I considered getting into PhD earlier, and I have a plan that after probably 4-5 years of working in the industry, I will come and again complete my PhD.
Is there any thought process in mind? Is that good option?
So in my field of interest or in my field of career that I have chosen in data science, PhD is one of the major requirements. So unless and until you do PhD, you will not reach higher positions in a company. All the data science leads in major companies, MSR, Microsoft Research, Google Research, everyone is at minimum requirement is to have a PhD. So once at some point of time, I will have to come and.
Yeah, so kind of a ML field is still maturing, so you need a research mind to approach the problems, I guess, or how. Because
Yes.
SD roles is they assign you tasks, you do the work. But in ML roles, you need some kind of research.
Yeah, ML roles. Yeah, so ML roles mostly you have to understand what has been done till date, what new you can bring into the table, and how you can implement it. And whether after implementation you have to see whether it was feasible and whether it is good. So it is actually a complete try and error.
Yeah.
Keep on trying until you get a good result.
Yeah, so that's why I guess the PhD people are more, the companies are more inclined towards.
Yeah, sure, because PhD student ensures much more actually knowledge and much more experience. So he has an experience of 5 years working in that particular field that is certified. So even if I do a MTech of 2 years and I say that I have an experience of working from my BTech second year, there is no proof of that and there is no certification. But PhD at least certifies that he has worked for 5 years and has an experience for 5 years. So they are a much better candidate than MTechs currently.
So yeah, kind of we are moving towards the main part of our interview. So people from different regions or different competency level will watch this video. So I wanted to kind of a general 3 tips from you, like what that you want to give to your juniors or your younger self, like that. Like as we go forward, we learn things that I should have done this. ये करना तो अच्छा होगा. तो क्या tips देना चाहिए?
First and foremost, I would like to say don't be afraid to try new things. Always keep on trying something new because you might get an opportunity there or you might get a new interest that you might like to pursue for the future. Unless and until you keep on trying multiple things, you will not be able to understand what I should do. Because most people follow a linear path. So, but will be take MTech, very linear path. But unless and until you take opportunities that risky jobs, successful people, their graphs are very not linear. So every successful people you see their graphs in the initial years are at the bottom, but at the end of the years they are the best. So always take risks. Second point I would like to say. Third point, which is very important, is everyone that you are competing against is not your enemy, and everyone that is helping you is not your enemy.
I guess this was a placement experience, was it?
Not necessarily. I have learned this in my BTech only. So as I mentioned, the colleague of mine or friend of mine whom I did work with actually is not a friend of mine now, ironically. So there were tensions between him and me in the initial years. So while doing research and everything, so of course he was a friend of mine. He's still a friend of mine if you continue talking, but we don't talk anymore. So that happens. So always keep remember that everyone that helps you is not a friend, and everyone that you will
I think that would be the best tip of this interview. And applies to many things.
Yes. Every field of work. Every field of work. In companies also, when you will go, we'll meet many people who will be there to help you, but not at the time.
So this was a really insightful talk for me also, and I am damn sure this will be insightful talk for my audience also.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming here and giving your time for my interview. I really
Thank
appreciate
you for
that.
this opportunity and thank you guys.
Yeah, and he maintains one YouTube channel and he also has a blog. So I will paste the links in the description and you can check out his LinkedIn or.
I do generally did tutorials on machine learning and deep learning. I stopped doing them now, but probably if I go to a company, I will start doing them.
Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.